Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So past weekend we had another regional, our first real regional in the US for BT13, and Belphemon took first place. So I thought today I'd try to throw Belphemon at you guys just to give a few tweaks on the champs list and just kind of show you just basically how the deck runs in general. For those that aren't familiar with the deck or not really too sure of the strategies that are used in the deck, hopefully I can clear some of that up for you. Also right here, I do have the deck pulled up by George. This is what he piloted here with his record here of a lot of 2-0s, a lot of Shine Greymon, Royal Knights. I mean, the two like predominant decks supposed to be in the format, and he was taking them all down. So congrats to George. That is amazing, absolutely incredible. You probably recognize him. He's very predominant player in the community, as well as he's very active on like the Facebook groups and things like that, so you probably recognize him. Yeah, this is his deck. So I did use a lot of it as inspiration, just because clearly it's tried and true. Also, I will say there's not too much lenience that you can go with it. We do have like the basic core of the deck that's going to be the same no matter what you play. Just a few techs that are going to be different along the way to victory. Also, this month's featured memory marker, handmade out of clay, hand-painted as well, all by my wife, Digimon, is now available. This is the baby form of Wormmon. If you want to pick up this little guy, he'll be on her Etsy page, link in the description below. Very, very cute. Love this guy. Also on her Etsy page, you can find all the previous memory markers that we featured on the channel in the past for her. So go check that out. Check out cardtrader.com just for signing up using the link in the description below. Using my referral, you get a free $2 to spend on whatever you want. Also, they have a really cool shipment thing where every card you buy, that all of it goes to the warehouse at once, and then you pay for a single shipping cost to you. So you cut down on those bulk orders that you put in. You only have to pay a single shipping cost. So it's super cool, very, very efficient a way that Card Trader works. So yeah, go check them out. Very, very cool website. As always, I've got the whole deck pulled up for you guys so you can kind of follow along where we're at. The main part of the deck here that I'm showing on screen is 48 cards of 50, and I've got some talking points down here at the bottom of some an additional 2 cards that you can throw into the deck. Like I said, for the most part, this is just like the champs version of the deck. Like we dropped the Zwart. Even he said the Zwart defeat just undershined and just was not worth it, and it was like going to be his first immediate cut. So we went ahead and dropped that as well, just to get the core of the deck. You know how I feel about one-ofs and things like that in decks anyway, so just not a big fan of it. Unless it's calling and they only let me run one of it, or Eismon, they only let me run of it. Yeah, Eismon, oh my god, one day, man. God, if they ever brought this back, so good. I think it's a good 2-of. If they would change up how they work their limited list to like allow for 2-ofs, I think that would be really cool to have Eismon at 2. So let's go ahead and what's the overall strategy? Overall strategy is to, of course, get into rage mode and sleep mode, and basically you alternate back and forth. After your rage mode attacks, you go into sleep mode to like basically pass your turn, and your stat can't be affected by your opponent's effects, as well as you can stop your opponent from attacking. So that's kind of the general idea, is to get into these guys, turbo into them as fast as possible. There's multiple different ways that you can get there in the deck. Also, you typically want to be at 6 cards or less in your hand, because that's when you're going to get your start of main phase, delete all your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Then if you have 6 or fewer cards in hand, this Digimon gets plus 3k, putting you at 17k, and gains security attack plus 1. That security attack plus 1 is, of course, the major part here. And that's where you're going to want to be, and that's at start of main phase. So keep that in mind, guys. That is start of main phase, and it's not like an all turns. It's not whenever it becomes live. It's at the start of your main phase. So after you draw for turn, you need to be at 6 cards or less in hand. That's a little bit tricky to do. So we're going to be looking at some cards that you might not normally see in decks like this. So we'll just have to kind of work through it here. First up, we've got Digimon as our egg of choice. The idea of the deck is to cycle through things. You need to get certain cards in your trash, like the Gizmon stuff. So lots of drawing and discarding is going to be fundamental for the deck, absolutely. We have the Phascomon here, which is the the rookie for the deck that came out in the set. On deletion, draw one, trash one. Also has the inheritable here of end of opponent's turn, draw one, trash one. So just very pivotal for the deck. Also, I think it's just a really good rookie in general. We might see something like this work its way into like BL Star or something like that, possibly. I'm going to skip over the Gizmon stuff for right now, and then we're going to take a look at it all in one go. For our other rookie, Psychmon in here is just a tech for the format. Psychmon, as you guys know, all turns, players can't reduce play costs. Why is this so huge right now? Every purple deck is running it. I even ran this in BL Star. And BL Star hates Psychmon because I could Digivolve over it and turn it off when I needed it to, or crashed it and get it killed when I wanted to. But going into a format with Royal Knights, this absolutely eats Royal Knights for lunch. Royal Knights literally run the new Marcus, that minus 3k Marcus on play, to kill cards like Psychmon, Solarmon, all that stuff. But if you run enough of them, they can't just keep playing out those Marcuses, right? And also our 3 play cost versus that 5 play cost. So Psychmons can really mess up Royal Knights really nicely. So running it at a 3 of, it could even be a 4 of if you so choose. The thing is, just when you play cards like this, they don't help your overall strategy. And if you don't do a whole lot of Digivolving on top of cards like this, then the idea of running a lot of rookies kind of go out the window, and there's a reason for that. We're not doing a whole lot of Digivolving in this deck in general. We have Eismon Scatter Mode as our main level 4 that we're evoing with here. Of course, classic on deletion, draw 3, draw 3, trash 2 on deletion. 4k, so it's usually prone to deletion, but I swear it never dies. It's just absolutely crazy. And then we have just a regular Eismon here. A lot of people have just kind of gone away from Eismon in general, but clearly in a deck like this that's drawing and trashing as much as it is, it's going to actually bring this online very easily. When you trash this card in your hand using one of your effects, if Scatter Mode is in your trash, you may play this card without playing its memory cost. Your turn, for each Scatter Mode in your trash, the Digimon gets plus 2,000 DP, so for a grand total of plus 8 if you get all 4 in trash. So that's really strong, but mainly this is just to get you a free body on field, which is always nice. And to go on top of that free body here, we have the Astamon from BT13 that goes with our Demon Lord, looking very suave in his suit. So 3 Evo cost or 7 play cost. By deleting one of your other purple Digimon, this Digimon may Digivolve into a Digimon with Belphemon in its name in your hand without paying the cost. Oh, 5 Evo cost, 6 Evo cost, sorry, on the Rage mode here. 6 Evo cost, and you can go into it for free with an Astamon. You just got to delete one of your other Digimon, and that's actually super easy in this deck because of multiple reasons, which we will cover. But getting a cheap body on field or whatnot is actually super easy in this deck. So yeah, you just delete that thing you played out for super cheap, and then you go into a Rage mode for free. Very strong card. Astamon is great. Opponent's turn, once per turn, when a card is trashed from your hand, you may play one level 4 or lower purple Digimon card from your trash without paying the cost. So that's really amazing for the deck here. Now, it's a little bit more difficult to trigger that off in the late game because this is going to essentially be an inheritable underneath your Belphemon. So, by the time you get to that, the game is you're at your peak, right? So getting that is not something you should rely on heavily just because a lot of your stuff that's doing a lot of that is on the lower end. And then, of course, we have the Belphemon Sleep Mode. So, the idea here is go on play or when Digivolving. Yes, he has a 3 Evo or 11 play cost. That 11 play cost can actually be dropped down to a 2 play cost with the Tamer. So we'll cover that when we get there. But just keep in mind that on play is actually relevant in this because you actually can get it not too bad. By placing one Belphemon Rage mode from your trash as this Digimon's Digivolution card until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon can attack and isn't affected by your opponent's effects. So isn't affected by your opponent's effects. Any of them. Digimon, options, whatever, Tamers. That's a really massive blanket effect. Now, it says the top Digivolution card. So the Rage mode goes directly underneath the Sleep mode. It doesn't go on top of the Sleep mode, it goes underneath it. So then you can still get this next effect of opponent's turn once per turn. This is only once per turn, guys. I've seen people already trying to use this multiple times. When an opponent's Digimon attacks by trashing 2 cards in your hand in the attack. So that's pretty great. Trashing 2 cards in your hand. So that's just incredibly mind-blowing because there's so many great discard effects in this game. Like we already talked about, like the Icemon. Now, granted, the Icemon is your turn, so keep that in mind for the 2K buff on it. So if that matters to you. But yeah, so just trash 2 cards in your hand. That's very strong in the attack immediately, so that way they can't basically clear the sleep mode. And that's the important part, is that's basically this deck's kind of weakness. There's not many weak points in this strategy, but sleep mode being attacked over is. Now, it can protect itself once, right, from one attack, so be very cautious on using this. Don't just shotgun it out if your opponent could potentially go into something like a Blitz Gaiomon or something like that you just like, well, he's at 1 Evo, he can't go into anything else that could clear me, so I'll go ahead and block this attack. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, Evo into Gaiomon, Blitz, or Evo into Blitz Omnimon, unsuspend and swing again. And you're like, crap, okay, you could clear it. So just be cautious with that, guys. And then, of course, we have the Rage mode. So the idea of the Rage mode is you tuck it underneath the Sleep mode, and when it comes back to your turn, so end of opponent's turn, the inheritable is if this Digimon has Belphemon Sleep mode, trash the top card of this Digimon. So yeah, you just pop the Sleep mode off, and now you've got Rage mode ready. Start of main phase, which we already talked about. Delete all opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. Whoa. Okay, that's aggressive. Then, if you have 6 or fewer cards in your hand, this Digimon gets plus 3,000 DP and gains security attack plus 1 for the turn. So it can be really difficult to be, by the time you get into a Rage mode, like a few turns have probably passed, you could get into a Rage mode by turn 2, definitely by turn 3. So you just got to be kind of careful on your draws. Like if you're doing a lot of Digivolving and things like that, you know, you're getting your draw for turn, and then you're not losing cards from your hand. And again, this is start of main phase, so you can't like middle of your turn, main phase, just play down, like play a bunch of cards for free, or just hard play them to get your hand size down. Like you have to have that size down already, so you have to downsize the turn before you do that. Also, using the sleep mode, you can discard down to that 6, and that's really good as well. So yeah, just kind of keep that in mind, guys. And then end of attack once per turn by deleting one of your other Digimon, unsuspend this Digimon. Just like I said with the Astamon, you can play some targets out for super cheap, and then that gives you great targets to pop with these effects here. So you can swing again with security attack plus 1. All in all, like the deck, the power level of the deck is just like, okay, yeah, Rage mode's cool. He's just a purple Digimon swinging at security attack plus 1, right? He does have a lot of DP, but that's it. The thing is, though, is that you can't really clear it during your own turn. When you pass turn, it goes into sleep mode again, and you can't touch it. And then it's like, okay, well, I can't really clear it that easily. I can't swing over it because you're just going to stop my attack. So I have to have 2 attacks just to clear it. And they're already building up into another Rage mode. That's the scary part of this whole thing, is like once you establish it, you can just turbo out another Rage mode very, very quickly. And it's very difficult to interact with this strategy. So why is it so difficult to like clear the threat, right? So let's go back to the Gizmons here. So this is the level 3. When you would play this card, by deleting one of your level 2 Digimon in the breeding area, reduce the play cost by 2. So this is a 1 play cost rookie here. That's what I was talking about. It's very easy to get a target on field to delete. 1 play cost Proto Gizmon here. On play, draw 1, trash 1. Okay, not bad. All turns, this Digimon can't Digivolve, and that's going to be like the thing on all of these Gizmon, is that they can't Digivolve. And then on deletion, by returning 2 cards with Gizmon in their names from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, you may play 1 Gizmon AT from your trash without paying its cost. So the AT is the level 4 here. So you just pop it and then you bring out the next level. You pop it and you bring out the next level into the level 5. And then the same thing for this. When you would play it by deleting a level 3 Digimon, reduce the play cost by 4, so it's only a 2 play cost. On play, draw 2, trash 2. So we're getting that cycle yet again, because you want to get that rage mode, get a rage mode at least into trash for the sleep mode to be able to grab. All turns, this Digimon can't digivolve. On deletion, again, by returning 2 cards with Gizmon in their names from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order, you may play 1 Gizmon XT from your trash without paying its cost. And of course, the XT is the level 5 here. It's a blocker. On play, it can play the Tamer out for free, which is really important, because when we get to the Tamer is going to let you pop this guy to go into a Belphemon. So that's why I was talking about that you can make that Belphemon a 2 play cost, because it subtracts whatever the Gizmon that you delete from the play cost. So if you delete an XT, it minuses the play cost by 9. Very, very strong. Can't digivolve. On deletion, you may play 1 Proto Gizmon from your trash without playing the cost. So then you just restart the whole stack, which is really strong. And again, they're drawing and discarding, So you're filling your trash up with extra Gizmons, and then they just cycle back from the trash. And that's super strong about this, is that you get a shuffle back 2, or not shuffle back, you get a bottom deck 2, and you play out from the trash. So make sure you're always discarding your Gizmons. That's like your prime targets that you want to discard with all of your drawing and trashing that you do, is to trash those Gizmons, so that way they can just cycle themselves and just be like an absolute threat. Very strong stuff there. So then going off from there, let's cover the Tamer right quick, since that kind of led into it. 3 play costs, but you get to play it for free off the XT. Your turn, when a card with Belphemon in its name would be played, by deleting 1 of your Digimon with Gizmon in its name, reduce the play cost by the play cost of the deleted Digimon. So you pop the XT, you play out the sleep mode. Sleep mode on play is going to grab you a rage mode, and now you're already like in it to win it. So very, very simple strategy is to use all of your leading up stuff here to get into your fill up your trash with your Gizmons, and then the Gizmons, like every time your opponent tries to clear them or whatever, they're just going to use their on deletion effects to go up to the next level and the next level, and then you yourself pop the XT to go into your Belphemon with the Tamer here. And then end of opponent's turn, once per turn, draw 1, trash 1. Then by placing this Tamer card at the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Digimon with Belphemon in its name, delete one of your opponent's level 6 Digimon. And now it's not level 6 or lower, it is just level 6. So take that as it will. It's a nice effect here. Also, the draw 1, trash 1, just like continuously cycling for the whole game is really nice. And then setting up for your Belphemon plays. Very powerful card. So let's look at the support that we're running for the deck. Nidhogg, we haven't seen this in a while. You're just using it as a discard target. When you discard it from your hand, you gain 1 memory. Always really powerful. Just a great turn extender for you in the deck in general here. So great. All these drawing and trashing that we're doing, of course, makes sense to me to run. Gift of Darkness, this is the option that came out in BT13 for Belphemon. 6 play cost, delete one of your opponent's level 6 or higher Digimon. Then one of your Digimon may digivolve into Belphemon's sleep mode from your trash without paying the cost. So if your opponent does interrupt you and they do manage to clear your sleep mode or rage mode, you're just going to use this option card and you're going to go right back into it. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't ignore Digivolution requirements. It doesn't specifically say that. So you're still doing all the stuff. Now, it's just you don't have to pay the cost. You still have to go like a level 5 or go on top of a level 5, okay? So, keep that in mind. You can't just break the system and go from a rookie into the level 6. And then security, by trashing 1 Digimon card in your hand, delete one of your opponent's Digimon whose level is less than or equal to the trash card. That's really strong. Great security effect there for this deck, because again, you want to discard cards out of your hand as much as possible. If you can discard a Nidhogg with this, that's really great, because not only do you gain a memory, but then you can pop anything level 6 and lower, because that was a Nidhogg you just trashed. So that's great effect there. So really cool security. So it's at a 3 of for the deck. 4 might be a little excessive, just because the main effect is good, but you do have to sorry, this is a May. It was like, then one of your Digimon may digivolve into a Belphemon sleep mode in your trash without paying the cost. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't, but so yeah, that's a neat removal for the deck. And then, of course, the Ragemon is deleting everything level 5 and lower, so very powerful interactions there. We do have the one Calling from Darkness here, always a powerful card in any purple deck. If you ever break on something and it's in your trash, you can grab 2 cards back. Now, keep in mind, though, that this is going to add 2 cards to your hand. You play 1, you add 2, so it's going to be a +1 on your hand. So it can be very, very good, but it can also be bad in certain situations if you get your hand size too big. But I think it's still worth running because it's such an incredibly powerful card. Adding back an Eismon again, adding back Nidhogg's, stuff that you can trash again for your effects, very strong, as well as just in general all this other stuff. Restarting your Proto Gizmon's cycle again if they interrupted it somehow and you can't get it back. Things like that. So Calling is still a very strong card. We do have the purple memory boost in here just because like the idea is to turbo into your Ragemons as fast as possible. So seeing those cards is going to be very strong, like really important. Just like because you notice we're running 4 and 4 on the level 6s. What other decks have done that in the past? Stuff like as something just popped on my computer. That was weird. Are we still recording? Okay. Crazy. The green deck. I've already forgotten it. I want to call it Hercules, but no. So you basically you're gonna run the 4 main and the 4 X antibodies, and so you got to see those pieces as fast as possible. I can't believe I'm blanking on this deck. I'm pretty sure it's sitting right in front of me too. Kabuterimon, right? Oh my gosh, it is literally sitting in front of me, and I can't think of the name. Kuwagamon, Grand Kuwagamon, Grandis, that's the name that we settled on for it. Grandis Kuwagamon. You have to see both pieces, right? If you don't see both pieces, then the deck just doesn't really shine. It doesn't really pop off like it should. So you have to see those pieces as soon as possible. So Purple Memory Boost is just an extra way to get us into those. And that is the core of the deck. Now, like I said, we're 2 cards over. Now, what the champ used was he went with 2 Devimons, just that 1 Evo cost. It's got the blocker, just a simple card. To do simple things. The level 4s are a little light here. We're running, 4 and 4, so we got 8 total. That's not bad though. We don't go into desperately need to go into Astamon like that much because we have other ways to do it as well. Like I said, the Gizmons can also get us there, but it's still not too bad. In the scatter modes, you want them to die, so you can't digivolve the AT, so that doesn't leave you a whole lot of the things to digivolve Astamon on top of necessarily. So that's why he ran the 2 of Devimon, but some other cards that I thought were kind of interesting and worth looking at just depending on your playstyle. Jackraid, since you're drawing and discarding so much, your trash gets absolutely like monstrous in how big it is when you're not using your Gizmons to bottom deck stuff. But gain 1 memory for every 10 cards of trash. I also like this because it's basically a 0 play cost card, so we can just play this and downsize our hand. Like you can play double Jackraids now, and then you can go into whatever combos you want. So that's not too bad, and it also downsizes your hand for the following turn to make sure you're at the 6 cards or less. So I like that one. Demonic Disaster here. That is not the card that I put in here. Deathclaw was what I meant, not Demonic Disaster here. 1 play cost, you may delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. Just a simple card that we can hard play for 1. Downsizes our hand. We can clear one of our Gizmons, which we can immediately trigger ourselves to bring out the next level, so we don't have to like rely on our opponents destroying it or something like that, or it dying in security. We can just Deathclaw it ourselves to bring out the next level, and at the same time we clear one of our opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So I thought it was a cool include there. And then the last one was Skull Greymon, similar to Nidhogg that we've got. We don't want to play any of the discards that draw us cards because that's not what you want to do. You want to keep your hand size small, so drawing cards every time you discard is not the idea. So I was looking at other ones, and Skull Greymon's a pretty neat one because when it gets discarded, you can slide it underneath one of your Digimon and give it retaliation inheritable. So making your sleep modes, if they really want to double attack and swing over a sleep mode, they have to deal with that inheritable of retaliation, so they're going to lose out on whatever they swing over it with. So yeah, I thought Skull Greymon was a cool tech to go into the deck there. Again though, the deck is fairly tight here. So if you want to bump up your level 4s by 2, you could do that. But if you wanted to tech anything else in, like, you know, the Jack Raid or the Deathclaw or the Skull Greymon, you know, you're gonna have to give up somewhere else, like maybe a Nidhogg or something like that. As Nidhogg isn't like super pivotal over the top for the strategy, you know, you could cut there if you want, but he does allow for larger, more powerful turns. So, but that is it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will try my best to answer them. This deck is super crazy. It's very hard to deal with, and I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that you can't just like delete the stuff and like, okay, I'm just gonna prevent it from ever happening because I'm gonna delete it early. And you can't. The Gizmon, well, you can, but they just like play the next level up. A weak part in the strategy might be the XT here, because if you delete it, they have to start back over at the level 3 Gizmon, and they have to fill up their trash again with more Gizmons all over again. So like that might be a weak spot in the strategy, but then you still have to deal with the Astamon, and like as soon as they promote up that level 4 and then they go into an Astamon and they pop something else, like say they, you know, I don't know, pop out a Proto Gizmon or something like that, like, crap, okay, well now they instantly went into a rage mode, and now what do I do? It's very hard to interrupt this deck, like extremely hard to interrupt. Taking care of the Tamer might help you a little bit if you're playing like a Black or Greymon. You know, you can pop the Tamer and prevent them from using the Gizmons to get into the Belphemons, but they still can just go into him another way. And I think that's so crazy, is that there's just two different ways that are drastically different to, you know, get into your Mega and get your your strategy going really hard, and it's really fast too. So yeah, it's gonna be a hard deck to deal with for sure. We'll just kind of see how it goes from here. I think it's a purple deck, right? And naturally, the person that makes this deck great was someone that's a dedicated purple player playing it. And I think that's you always see that. It's those purple players that are really dedicated to purple, and they play a lot, right? I mean, they play test constantly. They play in multiple tournaments. Those are those dedicated purple players that always like make these crazy decks out of nowhere shine. We saw it last year with like the Lilith Loop and the Cerberus Mons and things like that. Oh, I forget who played that. Was it Human that played that? Yeah, so really cool stuff from another purple player. Really excited to see where this deck goes, breaking the mold on the format. So that's really cool. Definitely put a lot of people in their place by making this deck play.